It's about 6:30 p.m. on Friday, April 19th, 2024. My son's opening up that new area for the cattle to move. I'm standing right here where the grass was 3.5 feet tall, 3 feet tall. And you can see they missed a bunch of grass. They didn't like the grass around the honey locust here. They just skipped that. I don't blame them at all for doing that. Number 36, the calf, right there. He's still limping, but he's putting some weight on his back left leg, so that's a good sign, I guess. Number 24 is still limping as well. Let me see if I can get 24 to show off her limp here on her back left leg. It's all still swollen. Oh my goodness, it's swollen. It doesn't seem as bad as it was this morning, but not as good as it was a few days ago. So I don't know if it's healing or not. One of the thoughts that I had was maybe it's in between the toes. There's some infection or something going on. Her toes look okay. I don't see anything weird there. Of course, I don't have her pinned up and in a headlock or lock head gate, whatever they call them. So. Are you limping too? My goodness. What is going on here? All of you back left foots, huh? You have minerals, I don't know. It's got to be some kind of infection. It's either a nutrition deficiency that I need to feed my cows something they're not getting on the grass, or the minerals I'm feeding them, or something else. Ugh. Well, I don't think it's lack of forage, I'll tell you that much. It could just be that the ground has been wet for so long. But they're not like wallowing in mud. So it's not that. Hey there, number 47. You're a beautiful calf. The fact that 36 is doing so well says to me it's probably going to get better. So, let's see what 24 does here. Yeah. Ag. Right now it's about 68 degrees. There's a gentle breeze blowing from the east. It's still pretty humid, but not as humid as it was in the past few days. Cloudy, no sun. Just clouds. Oh, look at the condition on Red. Red's looking beautiful. Sometimes these longhorns, they don't put on weight. You feed them as much grass as you want, and they won't put on weight. But Red does a good job putting on weight. Speck here is doing a pretty good job too. So this is the time to put on weight. They're not going to make much gains in the summer. And the autumn, the grass doesn't grow very much. Of course, winter's not a good time for putting on weight. So the only time they really have to put on some fat and, improve their condition is in the springtime. And around here, springtime's going to end here. Middle of May, June, middle of June. So they only got about a month left. And in a month, it's going to start getting really hot. And once it gets really hot, then there's no chance of putting on gains. Although there are people that grow tremendous amounts of Bermuda grass. They say that the cows eating on long Bermuda grass do just as well as ryegrass. But ryegrass is recognized as the ideal fuel for cows. We got plenty of ryegrass still. Haven't drilled ryegrass ever. Had this property for 3 years. Bought it back in 2021 in June or March or something like that. I think I bought the cows in June and I bought the property in March. So, don't know the exact dates. I'll have to go look back, but it doesn't matter. So, Alan Westerfield was not complaining, but yeah, he was complaining. He bought some property that was abused. Lots of tires and garbage and junk. And he bought the property knowing that it was not taken care of. And but he was kind of surprised by the amount of tires on the land. And his point was there's not a perfect piece of land out there. If you're waiting for a perfect piece of land to fall in your lap, it's not going to happen. You know, if you do find the perfect piece of land, congratulations, you got lucky. More often than not, you have to develop the land into the condition that you want it in. And I think I did get lucky with this piece of property. The guy took pretty good care of it. Obviously, he was doing the chemical route. He put a lot of money into the soil, and he had pretty good grass when I saw it, when I first got it. But the one thing that it was missing was the biodiversity in the living soil. So it took a while for it to really grow, and the 3 droughts really didn't help very much. But 26, by the way, is the oldest calf. He was born in the end of January. That's 24's calf. My numbering system is just, you know, whatever I buy at the co-op. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Anyway, yeah, you got to invest in the land. And one of the nice things about land is you don't have to pour money into it, right? In fact, you can probably find ways to invest your own energy, your own sweat. They call it sweat equity. You know, you pour your energy and your sweat into it, your hard work, and your property value improves. Maybe not in terms of the property market. You know, I probably can't go to sell this land and say I put this many hours of work, I deserve to be paid for it. I won't get paid for that. I'm losing money every time I spend an hour here. I'm not getting paid for it. Not in terms of money, but in terms of the land being modified into the position I want it to be in. Absolutely. And his point also is, like, you can't expect to buy a piece of property. And I think he's talking about bigger pieces of property, you know. Not like, you know, 10 or 5 acres here and there, but like, you know, 100 or 200 or 300 acres. You can't expect to buy a piece of property that's big and in a few years say, oh, everything's perfect exactly the way I wanted it. It's not going to happen. It's going to take generations, you know. And that's with the Joel Salatin farm. You know, I think sometimes we have unreasonable expectations. We're like, hey, I'll get out there and buy some property and, you know, in a few years I'll have Joel Salatin's farm. No. Joel Salatin's farm took 2 generations, at least 3 generations, because his kids are working it too. You know, 3 generations of work to get where it's at. You know, it can be disheartening when you look at your neighbors who have been farming, you know, since the 1800s and doing a good job at keeping their land up, you know, making good decisions throughout the generations. And you look at your piece of land and, you know, somewhere along the chain of ownership, somebody made a big mistake, some really stupid decisions. And so you're sitting on a piece of property that doesn't benefit from the generations of hard work. And you can get disheartened. And this is why it's important not to look at your neighbors and compare yourself. I mean, the only thing comparing yourself to your neighbors does is either you become prideful and think you're better than they are, or you become disheartened and give up, right? It's one of the reasons why I don't like Facebook, especially for women. You know, you got to look at your own situation. What can you do to improve it every day? Look at that grass. My goodness, look at the deep, dark green color of that grass too. That's a good sign. You know, take what you get. You don't throw what you fit. What is that? You get what you get. You don't throw a fit. I learned that in preschool for my kids. You know, you improve upon it. What's that? Parable of the talents. Jesus said the master gave 5 talents to one guy, 3 talents to another guy, 1 talent to the third guy. And the 5 and the 3 guys, they went out, they worked their butt off. They came back with 5 more and 3 more. So the first guy had 10, the second guy had 6. Well, the last guy, he buried it. He didn't work on it. He didn't invest. He didn't try to make it better. And so when the master came back, he was proud of the first 2 servants, but he wasn't very happy with that last servant. And the last servant said, what does it matter anyway? I wasn't going to reap the rewards. You know, the Savior master said to him, you know, you're out in outer darkness now. I'm going to take what you have and give it to the rich guy. So, you know, and sometimes you don't see the benefits of your hard labor. Sometimes the benefits are there, but you can't recognize it, you know. And other times it legitimately takes generations, you know. So that's something to think about. Just because you're not harvesting the benefits of it doesn't mean it's not worth doing. You know, somebody else is going to come by and harvest it. Hopefully your kids. If not your kids, somebody else that decided they wanted to be a farmer. And you have to sell your property for one reason or another. Maybe you can no longer do the work and you get to sell it to somebody who gets a head start in life. And so he's taking advantage of your hard work. And, you know, we shouldn't feel envy. We should be happy that somebody's succeeding, you know. Take joy in each other's successes, you know, stuff like that. So anyway, that's the way I feel about this property. Is I don't anticipate holding it till the day I die. Even if I could, as I get older, I won't be able to work it. I'm actually hoping one day I might be able to trade up, quote unquote trade up. But, you know, I like this so much, and I think it might be a little more fun if I had 300 acres or 3,000 acres, you know. I don't know where I would get the money to manage that kind of land. It would take a generation to build up that kind of wealth doing this. But that's something that I think if I had the opportunity, I would do it. You know, if the opportunity became where we can get 3,000 acres and we can live close by or on the property, I'd probably take it, you know, even though it'd mean more work. Right? Right, number 11. All right, guys, have a great day. Take care and bye-bye.